Republican vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin now back home in Alaska, where she spoke candidly to a local newspaper about losing the election. Brian Todd has been following the story for us. So what's the governor saying, Brian?
Well, essentially, Wolf, the Sarah Palin Unplugged tour is continuing. From the kitchen of her house in Wasilla, she unwinds on why her ticket lost, what she really thinks about Tina Fey, and we even get a glimpse of Palin family fare.
She insists the moose chili in the crock pot and the moose hot dogs on the table are not props for the media. This is how the family really eats. Not the only eye-openers from Sarah Palin during an interview with the Anchorage Daily News from her home in Wasilla. Take her answer on why her ticket didn't win on election night.
There was such a desire for change across the nation. I mean, that was the given, was change was going to be ushered in. And I think the Republican ticket represented too much of the status quo, too much of what had gone on in these last 8 years, that Americans were kind of shaking their heads at, going, wait a minute, how did we run up a $10 trillion debt in a Republican administration? How have there been blunders with war strategy under a Republican administration?
The White House declined to comment on that, other than to say historically it has always been very difficult for a party to win a third consecutive term in office. With her 7-year-old daughter asking guests what they'd like to drink and shuttling their newborn son Trig upstairs, Sarah Palin said now that she's back as governor, she'll stick to her campaign's pledge to reform the practice of earmarks.
We had better make sure that every earmark we request is in the nation's best interest and is something that has been vetted and seen the light of day via public participation before we even request it.
When it came to how she was covered by Saturday Night Live,
are we not doing the talent portion?
She had only nice things to say about actress Tina Fey, who lampooned the governor in several comedy skits.
I really liked her, and then her in-laws came to one of our rallies and met us backstage, and they were pretty hardcore Republicans, the in-laws were, and she had told me that. She was like, believe it or not, I'm from a family of Republicans.
But Palin said she was frustrated by other aspects of media coverage of her, like accounts that she says were misleading, that she tried to ban some library books. Wolf.
Is she saying anything, Brian, about staying in the national spotlights, sticking only to being governor of Alaska, or does she have national ambitions?
Well, only saying that she is not ruling out a run for president or vice president in 2012, but she's already going to be in the limelight later this week. She's going to go to that Republican Governors Association meeting in Miami, and I know you know something about that.
I'm going to be going there as well to interview her on Wednesday. Sarah Palin will be here in the Situation Room. I'll interview the Alaska governor. By the way, you can be part of the interview. If you have questions for John McCain's former running mate, send them to us right now. To upload your video questions for Governor Palin, you can go to ireport.com. The interview Wednesday here in the Situation Room.